Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the SWAPA Probie to Pro series. Today, we are going to talk about monthly overlap, which is what happens when your line award for next month conflicts with an assignment in the current month. CBA Section 9 Kilo outlines the process for resolving this type of conflict. First, some definitions. Lead-out pairings are those that originate in the current bid period. Lead-in pairings are those that originate in the new period, out of this month into next month. When changes to duty periods in the current month are made, you are subject to the online scheduled pay rules defined in Section 2 Kilo, with the exception of leg change override. This section says you are pay protected for the original TFP of your duty periods in the current month, or what is actually flown if the company modifies a lead-out pairing. Section 2 Kilo 7 states that the adjusted pairing becomes the new original for the basis of LCO and points to Section 9 Kilo for the correction procedures. If pairings or wraps in the new bid period are dropped, aka lead-in pairings, they are dropped without pay. Section 9 Kilo states that the company has to correct regulatory or contractual illegalities as defined in 9 Foxtrot and 9 Golf. Those are the sections that deal with line construction, duty day, and cumulative block restrictions. When the lines are awarded, the company has 48 hours after the first round or 24 hours after the second round to post a correction to your schedule. Then you can either accept the company's correction, propose your own correction, or ask scheduling to put the full pairings back on your board so that you can use Trip Trade Giveaway and ELIT to fix the illegality yourself. There are 3 different types of overlap: pairing to pairing, pairing to reserve, or reserve to reserve, each with their own rules. Section 9 Kilo 4 lists the restrictions on company overlap corrections. Here are a few. 9 Kilo 4 Mike states that no company correction can result in more than 5 consecutive duty periods or Southwest days. 9 Kilo 4 Lima states that no company correction can create ground time of more than 4 hours between flights. 9 Kilo 4 Juliet states any deadhead used to connect the pairings will be paid. Here's an example of month-to-month overlap between 2 pairings. The lead-out pairing and lead-in pairing are combined into a 5-duty period pairing. This lead-out pairing overnighted in Denver on day 2 on July 31st with the last day on August 1st, which conflicts with the lead-in pairing. The company correction resulted in a combined pairing with a deadhead from Denver to Kansas City to connect the 2 pairings. For overlap where pairings and wraps conflict, the pairing will be flown and the wraps will be dropped, with the exception that if the lead-in pairing fits entirely inside of a lead-out reserve block, the lead-in pairing will be dropped. Overlapping reserve blocks are generally combined into a single block, but again, it cannot exceed 5 days. They also must be the same reserve type, such as AM or PM, and in the same category. Wrap start times can be adjusted by up to 60 minutes to create legal rest. Here's an example of a reserve overlap correction resulting in a 5-day block. But if you don't like the company's solution, you can propose your own. Once you see the company correction, you have up to 96 hours from the end of the protest period to propose your own correction. For first round awards, this is noon Central on the 15th. If the company modifies the lead-in pairing, you can instead choose to drop the entire lead-out pairing with no pay and fly the lead-in pairing as originally scheduled. It is important to note, however, that removal of the entire lead-in pairing is not considered a modification under this provision. You can also propose any other correction as long as it does not result in more deadhead costs, more duty periods being added to open time, or an increase in overnights being added to open time. While the company correction cannot result in more than 5 consecutive days, pilots do have the option to fly up to 6 consecutive duty periods. For combined reserve blocks, you also have several additional options. You can drop either the last wrap of the lead-out block or the first wrap of the lead-in block. If you have a 5-day wrap, you can designate one night in the current month as a non-RON, meaning that you must be returned to domicile that night, or you can move the third wrap to the end of the block, creating a 2-day block, followed by a day off, and then a 3-day block. If the company correction results in a single duty period or wrap, you can choose to drop that without pay. Before we wrap up, one last note from the scheduling handbook. Sometimes the company adjustment is not due to overlapping trips, but rather rolling legalities like 672-hour block and flight duty period limits. You may see a modification to a pairing made later in the month due to these limits. Again, you can ask the company to reinstate the pairing and use ELIT or Trip Trade Giveaway to fix the illegality. Okay, that's it for today's video, but you may be wondering what happens if your lead-in pairing is dropped and you lose pay. Well, you will be eligible for open time priority, which we will talk about in the next video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Probie to Pro.